Thank you all for taking the time to join us for today for this virtual donor recognition ceremony. It's unfortunate that we can't be together as we normally are and have the opportunity for everyone to hug and to see each other face to face. Nonetheless, we wanted to have this event because we think that it's very important. We believe that it's very important that we recognize your donation and the selfless gift that your loved one made in the gift of donation. Thanks to you and people like you, last year was a record year for donation and transplantation in the state of Oklahoma, as well as across this great nation. Last year, 197 organ donors gave the gift of life to 455 recipients, and an additional 900 plus tissue donors contributed tissue grafts that enhanced or saved the lives of 60,000 more people. Clearly, this is an incredible accomplishment and one that has left a lasting impact that will be felt for generations to come. And so today we come together to honor you, to honor your loved one, and to honor that selfless gift that made so much good possible. We thank you for taking the time to be with us today. And as we proceed, just want to make sure that you know that next year, if we're able to do this face to face, you will be invited to attend that ceremony as well. Thank you for being with us today, and we look forward to having the chance to connect with you and to see you again at some point in the future.
Hello, my name is Mike McClellan and I'm a 19-year kidney transplant recipient. I want to welcome you today to the donor family ceremony. And while your pain may still be immense and your grief may seem never-ending, I hope that there's something I say today that may bring a little peace and comfort to your life. I was 9 years old when my father died after his second kidney transplant in 1971. I was born with a genetic condition that was passed on from my father. I knew one day that I would be like my father and that my kidneys would fail and that I would someday need a life-saving transplant. When I was about 35 years old, my kidneys did fail, and I did have to start dialysis, and I did have to start that wait, that long wait, to receive a kidney transplant. Dialysis was hard, and my life seemed like it came to a stop. Everything in my life became difficult. I had a 6.5-year-old daughter, and I wasn't able to be a big part of her life like I was before. I was sick a lot. I had migraines. Things did not look well, and there were days that I didn't want to go on, and there were days that I just didn't want to do dialysis anymore. But after 2.5 years, I did receive that call. On April 1st, 2001, I received the call that there was a kidney for me. And while my family celebrated and were very jubilant, I sat on the edge of my bed and I cried. I cried because I began grieving for the family that had lost somebody dear to them. I knew that what that call meant was that somebody had died suddenly and tragically, probably unexpectedly. I didn't know what to do with that pain, but all I knew is I had to get to the hospital and get that transplant. I received my transplant on April 2nd, 2001. And from the time I woke up after my transplant, I felt like a new man. I felt like life had started again. But I was also very troubled. I didn't know what I was supposed to do. I felt really good and I was very grateful, but I knew there had to be more. I thought about that, and one day I finally was able to write that letter of thanks to my donor's family and thank them for the gift that I had received. And I told them about myself and my family and what got me to where I was. I sent that to them, and a few weeks later, I received a letter back from them telling me all about my donor. My donor's name was Sandy, and she had a daughter and a son, Adam and Angela. I knew what that was like to lose a parent, as my dad had died when I was young, and growing up without a father was very difficult. He was not there for those milestone events like graduating from high school, driving my first car, having a girlfriend, getting married, all my life achievements. So I knew that had to be very difficult. But I knew that there was something I wanted to do, and I didn't know what that was. But 3 years after my transplant, things changed. I went to a small town to coach a youth soccer game, and that town was very near where she was buried. I went to her grave, and I paid my respects, decorated her grave. And I was about to leave the cemetery, and a young couple walked in, and they walked up to the grave where I was and stood across from me. The girl introduced herself as Angela, and I told her that her mother had saved my life. And from that day forward, I got to know my donor, and I got to know my donor's family. I got to talk to them and learn about her, and they told me all about her and how things were and what happened to her. And that was very important to me. But what that did was solidify in my heart that I had to live my life in a way that would honor my donor. I had to live my life in a way going forward that I could help other people and do things that I know my donor would want me to do. So that's what I do today. I advocate for LifeShare of Oklahoma, and I go out and I talk about the importance of organ, eye, and tissue donation. I tell my story as often as I can so that hopefully people can hear a message of hope and people can understand the importance of what organ, eye, and tissue donation is. Some of you might be wondering, so what does that mean? What does that mean to me? I mean, what difference did it really make? I like to call that the ripple effect. When my donor and my donor's family made that decision to donate her organs and to save my life, it started a ripple effect in the universe. It carried on, and it still carries on today, 19 years later. What that ripple effect looks like is that I was able to be there for my daughter as she grew up. I was able to be there for those life-changing events of hers, graduating from high school, her first boyfriend, learning how to drive, going on to college and graduating from college. She's now a third grade teacher, and she's making a difference in the lives of those children every day. She got married. I was able to walk her down the aisle, and I was able to have that father-daughter dance with her. I never thought that would ever be possible. I thought that dream was gone. I have 3 grandchildren today, and I get to speak with them, and I get to be a part of their life, and I get to shape their lives. You know, those very things that my daughter missed from her grandfather who died when I was 9 years old. So many dreams have been met. So many lives have been changed. I've met thousands of people after my transplant, and I really believe that maybe I've touched a few of those people. None of that would have been possible without an organ, eye, or tissue transplant. None of them at all. Some dreams of mine have been fulfilled. I was able to be a contestant on Wheel of Fortune. I'd always wanted to do that, and I was finally able to do that, and I was able to stand on a national stage, and I was able to talk about organ, eye, and tissue donation. That was really special to me, but that's one of those differences that made. Maybe that made a difference to somebody out in the world. I'm able to compete in the Transplant Games of America every year. What that is where every 2 years, thousands of people get together, organ recipients, and especially donor families. We get together and we share our stories. We share our successes and we share our failures. And my favorite part is the donor families because I want to learn about donors and I want to learn about what their name was and the difference that they made. And I like to assure donor families, your loved ones made a difference. They changed the world and they changed generations to come. I was able to be a rider on a Rose Bowl parade float, the Donate Life Rose Bowl parade float. And on that float, I was honored as an organ recipient. I was able to honor my donor with a fluorograph, and I was able to ride that parade route holding her picture and letting people know that organ donation works. Life is different today. Life is a journey. Life is a blessing. You, as donor families, may not be able to see it, but one day you will. Your donors made a difference. Your family member made a difference. They're heroes. They're heroes to families. They're heroes to future generations. They're just heroes. I hope that something I said today might have given you a little bit of hope, might have brought you a little bit of comfort. Just know that your loved ones made a difference. Thank you for being here, and God bless you all.
Hello, I'm Jillian Sully. Thank you so much for allowing me to be here with you today and to share my story. Ultimately, my story is one of love. It is a story of hope and thankfulness. And my story begins when I was very young. As a child, I was very active. I loved to run and play. I participated in brownies and gymnastics and cheerleading and dance. Later in my youth, I started lifeguarding and I taught swim lessons, and I was involved in numerous student organizations, and I loved to sing, and I performed at festivals all over the state. I truly had big dreams, and I didn't think that there was anything that could stand in my way. But little did I know that there was something happening inside of my body that had the potential to change my life as I knew it. During my college finals, I noticed that the only thing I could see out of my left eye was pretty much this white haze, and it scared me. I told my mom, and she scheduled me an appointment with an ophthalmologist. And I soon learned that I had 2 disorders that caused the degeneration of my corneas. And the only way for me to possibly having a chance at restoring my vision was from a corneal tissue donor. And so the alternative to not having the cornea transplant was preparing to live a life of blindness, or at very least, very heavily impaired vision. At that point, vision in my left eye was pretty much gone, and I was obviously fearful that my right eye could go as quickly as my left. And so the goal became to treat my left eye quickly in hopes that I might have a chance of regaining sight in my left eye before my right eye needed treatment as well. So I was placed on the transplant list, and I was told to be ready as soon as a call came in. And during that time of waiting for a donor, the reality of receiving a donor cornea hit me. Someone in advance of his or her death, or someone's loved one at the incredibly difficult time of death, had made a decision to donate. A decision based purely in love. And then my day came. I received a phone call stating that a donor was available and that I needed to prepare for surgery. I was scared, but I also had hope. The next several years of recovery were challenging, and fortunately, vision in my right eye did not deteriorate as quickly. And today, vision in my left eye is stable. But because of the love of my donor and donor family, I was given a second chance at sight. I don't know who my donor is, but to my donor and their family, I am forever grateful. Today, I am married. I have 2 bonus sons, and I can watch my 4 nieces and nephews grow up. My husband and I love to travel, and we share a love for singing and performing. I have a career as an emergency manager, and I'm able to help people through disasters. This life that I am so thankful to have would not be possible without my donor and the gift of love from their family. I thank you for being this gift of hope and love to others. And I thank you for your time and for letting me share my story.
Thank you again for taking the time to join us today for this virtual donor family recognition. We are really pleased that we could do this and have the opportunity to reach out to you, even though the circumstances prevent us from doing it face to face. As I said during my welcome, at the end of the year, we'll be evaluating opportunities to have a face-to-face ceremony in 2021, and certainly we will be inviting all of you to the next face-to-face ceremony that we're able to hold. In the meantime, if there's anything at all that we can do to be of help to you or support to you in your process of grieving and healing and moving forward from the loss of your loved one, we are happy to be of help, and we're here for you. Again, thank you so much for making the decision to donate and for making the decision to support your loved one's wish to donate. In so doing, you've had a lasting impact that will affect generations to come, and we appreciate you and care about you and look forward to meeting you in person at the first opportunity. Thank you, and have a great day.